We predicted that the Southern District of New York prosecution, district attorney, would be a thorn in the side of Donald Trump and his family long after he was out of office. That may still be the case, but it is Georgia that is jumping ahead very quickly and has launched a criminal investigation into Donald Trump's supposedly perfect phone call to Georgia officials saying that they need to find 11,780 votes for him. Yes, Donald Trump is under criminal investigation. It's happening even more quickly than some of us anticipated it might happen. The New York Times reporting that prosecutors in Georgia have started a criminal probe into Donald Trump's attempts to overturn the election results in Georgia, including that infamous phone call he made to Republican Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger. That's the call where Trump insisted, I only need 11,780 votes. What are we going to do? Help me out here. How can we find these votes? Fannie Willis, who is the Democratic prosecutor in Fulton County, has now sent a letter to numerous officials in state government, including Brad Raffensperger, requesting that documents be preserved related to an investigation into attempts to influence the state's 2020 presidential election. So this is notable for a few different reasons. These notifications to preserve documents are typical when there is an investigation that is taking place. Because this is a prosecutor in Fulton County, we know that this is a criminal investigation. That's what it is. That's what it means. That's what these prosecutors investigate. Now, the letter does not mention Donald Trump by name. But it is related to what Donald Trump did, trying to change the outcome of Georgia's election, insisting that these officials should simply find these votes, make it happen. And a copy of this letter that was sent was obtained by the New York Times, and it really doesn't look good for Donald Trump. Now, the speculation is Trump's ultimately going to be charged with felony election fraud. And that one of the really important things to understand is that when it comes to these statutes, even if you fail to convince someone to do the thing you want them to do, it is still a crime. Quote, under Georgia law, it is illegal to falsify any records used in connection with an election or to place false entries in such records, and any person who solicits, requests, commands, importunes, or otherwise attempts to cause the other person to falsify election fraud in the first degree, to falsify voting records, is guilty of criminal solicitation to commit election fraud in the first degree. This is a felony offense, and much like with bribery, if you try to bribe someone and they don't accept the bribe, you're still guilty. Listen, when we talk about attempted murder, just because you fail to kill someone doesn't mean you've committed no crime. And much the same way, even if you fail to induce fraud by asking someone, in this case, Brad Raffensperger, to find these 11,780 votes, you are still culpable, even if you don't get them to do the thing you're asking them to do. Imagine if Georgia ruins Donald Trump's life before New York does. Everyone expecting Southern District of New York to be the never-ending thorn in Trump's side, and Georgia jumping ahead very quickly. Now, from the standpoint of Trump's defense, the former president is known for not paying bills of all kinds. In real estate, not paying contractors that he hires to do windows or whatever it is he needs at different buildings. As president, known for not paying legal fees. Who's going to defend Donald Trump? And is it still worth it to them to do it simply to say you're defending the president, even if you're not going to get paid? Is it worth it for the notoriety? Is it worth it for the publicity and the PR? I don't know the answer, but it seems as though Donald Trump is going to need a lot of different lawyers over the next several years. This is just the start. And, I think from the standpoint of setting expectations, we know what the defense will be about find 11,780 votes. And we talked about this on the bonus show yesterday. It is going to be Donald Trump wasn't asking someone to commit fraud. Donald Trump really believed, this is what they'll say, we don't know if it's the truth, Donald Trump really believed he won in the state of Georgia. And what he was pointing out was it was only 11,780 votes of margin. And that what Trump was saying was, we don't need to fix every fraudulent vote. We just need to fix 11,780. It will go to Donald Trump's mindset at the time. It will go to Donald Trump's beliefs at the time. I have no delusion that this would be an easy case to prove. And I've had a number of lawyers email me about this reality, similar to with perjury. Just because you said something untrue under oath doesn't mean it's necessarily perjury. You have to prove intent. And that's why it's very difficult to prove perjury. That's why you don't often see it prosecuted when incorrect statements are made under oath during trials. And the same complexity will come up here. That doesn't mean Trump won't need lawyers to defend him. He will. And the question of who is it going to be, I can't imagine it's going to be Bruce Castor. I don't think David Schoen would be interested in this one, nor do I think it's his specialty. So the next months and years are going to be very interesting. But for today, yes, a criminal investigation apparently launched by Georgia into Donald Trump's supposedly perfect phone call. That's his designation. Nobody else is calling it that. And we will see where that goes. Tell me what you expect in terms of these investigations, criminal, civil, and otherwise. You can find me on Twitter at @Pakman. I want to take a second to tell you about one of our sponsors, S&H Masks. S&H Masks has everything you need when it comes to face masks and other protective gear for COVID-19, and they're giving my audience 20% off. S&H Masks is the company that I've personally been going to for face masks. I love and trust the products they sell, and that's actually why I reached out to them about being a sponsor. I've tried tons of different face masks this year, like many of you, and I still have not found a mask that is more comfortable or easier to breathe in than the washable cotton masks that they sell. It's made of a silky, lightweight cloth that feels great on the skin, has a convenient adjustable strap. They also have disposable cloth masks, which are really comfortable, as well as all of the other gear like face shields, alcohol wipes, no-touch infrared thermometers. And all of their prices are very reasonable. I also love S&H Masks because they've donated over 60,000 masks to healthcare institutions. They're an excellent company. Shipping is just $5 and shipping is free on orders over $150. You can get there by going to davidpakman.com/mask. The link is under this video, and you can save 20% on everything in their store when you use the coupon code DAVID.